Is there something you just almost prayed for when you were a child? That you'd hope you'd get?
Well, I wanted everything.
Yeah.
Dolly Parton, the voice behind the legendary Coat of Many Colors, has surely left a mark on everyone. Her musical career was spectacular, despite her difficult beginnings. In fact, it was her earlier experiences that gave her pieces their weight. However, totally out of character, Dolly posed for some photos that had heads turning for a while. Very little was left for the imagination, and people had a thing or two to say about this. Want to learn all about the photo? Stick with us for a while. Dolly Parton was born on January 19, 1946, in a small cabin deep within the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. She was one of 12 children to Robert Lee Parton and Avie Lee Parton, a poor family who could not give much but filled their cabin with music and love. Her father became a sharecropper and later a construction worker, and her mother had a beautiful singing voice and loved music. Dolly first learned to sing in church. The Partons were good citizens of their little community of Christians. She learned gospel singing, and soon she was singing along with her siblings and mother. By the age of 6, she was singing publicly at church gatherings and around the community. She clearly had a talent, and at the age of 8 she had her very first actual instrument, a home-built guitar her uncle made. Dolly possessed a natural gift as a kid, which was to turn things around her into songs. She sang the world that she knew, taking much of the cue from the hardships the family was experiencing. She never hated being poor, even though her family was poor. Instead, she embraced it and utilized it as the basis of her songs. Already at a young age, it was clear that Dolly had the gift of being able to touch people through music. At the age of 10, Dolly had already started appearing on local television and radio programs in Knoxville. Her uncle, Bill Owens, helped push her growing career, driving her to perform in different places and helping her make industry contacts. Being a hard worker and just possessing fine talent, she landed a place on the CA's Walker Show, a popular local show that brought her to the attention of even more people. With every performance, she grew more confident, and she was more determined than ever to make music her career. Dolly's first professional recording session was at the age of 13 when she went to Louisiana to record a song called Puppy Love. While the song was not a commercial success, it was a step in the right direction, showing that she could compete in the music industry. At this time, she also went to Nashville's Grand Ole Opry for the first time and got to perform there. Not only did she get to meet the superstars whom she always used to fantasize about watching live, but she also received a morale boost from Johnny Cash, a country music legend, who told her to chase her dreams and follow her heart. In order to pursue her career, Dolly moved to Nashville the day she graduated high school in 1964. She didn't waste any time trying to make it as a songwriter, penning songs for country artists and her uncle Bill Owens. Her writing began catching on, with artists like Bill Phillips recording her songs and getting them on the country charts. Although her success as a songwriter was promising, Dolly's ambitions were bigger. She wished to be the one standing in the spotlight, performing her own songs and sharing her own stories. She was given her chance when she signed with Monument Records, a company that initially thought of her as a pop singer instead of a country singer. They tried to make her into a pop style, but Dolly's heart would always and ever be in the country. When she could no longer succeed with the style she had been groomed into, she was able to finally coax the label to let her do country songs. When her crossover hit, Dumb Blonde, was released in 1967, it became clear that Dolly had at last discovered where she belonged. Country music singer Porter Wagoner invited Dolly to be a regular on his television show, The Porter Wagoner Show, the same year. This offer launched her career, as the visibility brought her to the attention of millions of television viewers. Dolly sang duets with him and released a string of successful albums. While the partnership was profitable, Dolly felt inferior to him. She had bigger dreams and wanted to forge her own career path in the industry. By the early 1970s, Dolly was beginning to break free from her association with Wagoner, an act that prompted one of her most famous songs, I Will Always Love You, which was a literal farewell to Wagoner, and the song became a hit and went into legend when Whitney Houston covered the song for the movie The Bodyguard. It was a demonstration that Dolly was able to write highly personal songs that had wide generational appeal. The 1980s and 1990s saw Dolly solidify her empire further with a combination of music, cinema, and corporate ventures. She also started Dollywood, a theme park in Tennessee that honored her heritage and offered employment to her own local townspeople. She never forgot her roots and went back time and again to the Smoky Mountains to give back to those people who had molded her. The fact that Dolly Parton emerged from impoverished mountain girl to international stardom is a testament to her ability, will, and unwavering belief in herself. Through her career, she has left an enduring legacy that bridges styles and generations. Her own poor childhood could have discouraged her, but rather than doing that, it gave her material for the stories she wrote and performed. She remains one of the most popular and influential individuals in show business, showing that with persistence and commitment, anything is possible. By the early 1980s, Dolly Parton was an established country music queen, but she was poised to reach a larger market than Nashville. Hollywood, with its flash and gigantic fan base, was the logical choice for a woman of her humor, comedic ability, and raw talent. Her first serious foray into the realm of filmmaking came in 1980 with 9 to 5, a workplace satire in which she co-starred with Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin. In her acting debut, Dolly's performance was universally praised. She played Dora Lee Rhodes, a secretary who, along with the rest of the office workers, gets revenge on their sexist and oppressive boss. Her own timing and sense of humor earned her a following, and the movie was a box office hit. Dolly was more than just an actress in 9 to 5. She co-wrote and sang the theme song for the film, which was one of the decade's anthems. 9 to 5 was a box office hit that reached country and pop charts, collecting Grammy Awards for Dolly and cementing her status as a star. After the success of 9 to 5, Dolly was asked to do more in movies. She starred alongside Burt Reynolds in 1982 in The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, a musical comedy about the popular Broadway show. The film was about a Texas whorehouse and the struggle to shut it down, and Dolly played the madam, Miss Mona. Despite its content, the movie was a box office hit, and Dolly's acting services were once more in high demand. The soundtrack featured the I Will Always Love You song, which she wrote in the 1970s to bid farewell to Porter Wagoner. Already established in country music, its feature in the movie had it back at the top of the charts. Dolly's second big Hollywood hit came in 1984 with Rhinestone, in which she starred alongside Sylvester Stallone. The film was, however, a departure from her previous success. Rhinestone flopped, and the critics were merciless. While the movie bombed, Dolly's star continued, and she endured in Hollywood. She was featured in 1989 in Steel Magnolias, a drama featuring an all-star cast that had Sally Field, Shirley MacLaine, and Julia Roberts. Dolly starred as Truvy Jones, a sweet beauty shop owner where the majority of the movie action was performed. Steel Magnolias was a box office success, with universal critical acclaim, and Dolly's performance was praised for its warmth and humor. The film solidified that she could act in dramatic scenes as much as in comedy scenes, establishing that she was not just a comic performer. Though she thrived in film, music never actually broke away from Dolly. In the 1980s and 1990s, she continued to release albums that blended country, pop, and gospel content. Her Hollywood endeavors helped to bring her to fame status, exposing her to crowds who might otherwise have remained unfamiliar with her style of music. While Dolly was engaged in Hollywood, she was also doing something quite unexpected, being photographed for Playboy magazine. In 1978, when Dolly was atop her creative success, one of the most searing issues pertaining to this diva was that she appeared on the covers of Playboy as the first country music icon ever to grace the magazine with her image. During her Playboy photo shoot, Dolly donned the traditional black bunny suit complete with ears and bow tie. Her trademark blonde tresses were done in enormous curls, and her cleavage was highlighted. Unlike nearly all other Playboy appearances, Dolly did not appear nude. She was still clothed, so the pictures were flirtatious rather than risque. This only generated more curiosity. Everyone, from the fans to the critics, was intrigued by the pictures, and her spread in the magazine was the talk of the town. Dolly's decision to pose for Playboy was seen as being brave and nonconformist. Country music was stereotyped as conservative, and most traditionalists felt that she had gone too far. However, Dolly was never a conformist. She employed the feature as a means of celebrating her femininity and dispelling myths regarding women in country music. She was in control of her image, showing that she could be sexy, assertive, and successful without selling out. It was proof of her ability to travel through a series of disparate arenas without sacrificing a sense of identity. Even though other people labeled her as silly, she never made apologies, later laughing it off in interviews afterward. In fact, she used it to her advantage, proving that she was not just a country artist, but a cultural symbol who could command respect on her own terms. Many years later, in 2021, she recalled the incident when she recycled the bunny suit symbol to commemorate her husband Carl Dean's birthday. In a lighthearted video, she joked about how she was still managing to do justice to the outfit, proclaiming once again that she was clever and completely self-assured. This showed her eagerness to push limits, be bold, and bring all sides of herself out. She wasn't just a country singer. She was a performer who could act, sing, and seduce audiences in a variety of ways that most others couldn't. Her own professional path in television and film also served to cement her place as one of the most successful members of the entertainment industry. Even outside of Hollywood and Playboy, Dolly employed her fame to empower others and create opportunities while still pushing boundaries. Her life was never defined by a single instant, but by a succession of bold choices that allowed her to remain relevant across the decades. For her personal life, Dolly has been married to Carl Dean since 1966, a feat most uncharacteristic in the show business. Their marriage has never been understood by many because Carl never wished to be in the spotlight, very rarely going out with Dolly to parties. He wished for a quiet life right from the beginning, going his own way while his wife became the world's largest star. Dolly has always teased Carl about having made her sing only once, and he has never shown any desire to be at Hollywood premieres or functions. But despite having lived in different worlds, they have been in love for decades. Their autonomy and respect for each other have allowed their marriage to endure, Dolly has claimed. She has explained that Carl never feels obligated to be involved in her line of work, and thus both of them have the freedom to thrive. She has described their relationship as being extremely humorous and with lots of love. There have been whispers of her private life throughout the years, with some assuming she had affairs, most notably with longtime musical collaborator Porter Wagoner. She has talked about such rumors for years, claiming that while she did have close friendships, Carl was always her true love. One of the reasons why folks have speculated that Dolly has had affairs is that she has kept very close to her personal assistant, Judy Ogle. They are childhood friends, and their closeness has fueled speculation that they are dating. Dolly has denied the rumor many times that they are close like sisters and nothing else. She has said that other people are often unable to believe that a close friendship between two women can exist, but to her, Judy was simply one of the most important people in her life. Dolly and Carl never had children, which is another aspect of her life that has intrigued the fans. She has spoken very frankly about it, saying that she and Carl had considered having children, but that life took them in another direction. She thinks it allowed her to be some kind of mother to millions of young people indirectly in other capacities through her patronage and philanthropy. She has oftentimes said she would not have been able to give herself as fully to her career and her charitable causes had she had her own children. Instead, she has given the love of motherhood to her nieces and nephews and refers to them as her kids. Outside of her home life, Dolly Parton has left the world a lasting legacy through her charitable efforts. She has worked on a variety of causes that have touched people's lives. One of the most famous examples is the Imagination Library, which she began in 1995 to mail books to children for free. Started by her father, who never learned to read or write, Dolly wanted to give children of every sort books and the chance to find out how much fun reading is. From humble beginnings in her home state of Tennessee, it grew into an international phenomenon that donated millions of books to children around the globe. The Imagination Library has been praised for its work to inspire literacy and offer children in low-income households an early advantage in life. Dolly's charitable contributions extend far beyond the cause of education. She has long been a staunch supporter of disaster relief work, particularly in her home area of the Great Smoky Mountains. When in 2016 wildfires burned homes and displaced thousands of residents from their homes in Tennessee, Dolly came to the rescue. Through her My People Fund, she gave money to families whose homes were burned so that they could restart their lives. Her generosity and quick response during this crisis made her even more popular among the public, further cementing the perception that she was not only a celebrity, but also a humanitarian. She has also been an outspoken advocate of healthcare programs. She has achieved her highest success by donating $1 million to Vanderbilt University Medical Center, which was later used to help fund research that led to the creation of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine. Dolly is always humble when it comes to her charity, and will always brush off her generosity by stating she is simply doing her best. LGBTQ rights support has also remained part of her legacy. While country music as a genre has been pretty much very conservative overall, Dolly has never hesitated to freely and openly state how much she loves and adores all sorts of human beings. She was a vocal supporter of equal rights, standing up for the LGBTQ+ community way back before they were tolerated in country clubs. She has often spoken of herself as believing in love and kindness above all, and that anyone is to be treated with respect. Her Travelin' Through, which she wrote for the film Transamerica, was a song of acceptance and earned her an Academy Award nomination. Dolly's increasing embrace of the LGBTQ+ community has made her everyone's darling. Other than her activism and philanthropy, Dolly's overall contribution to the entertainment world and society at large cannot be overstated. She's been a role model for countless performers, from pop stars to country singers, with an unusual mix of talent, shrewdness, and sanity. She's been one of music's leading faces, touring and recording and even experimenting with new creative pursuits. In her golden years, she's authored bestsellers, sold perfume franchises, and even maintained a line of mixes in a license agreement from Duncan Hines. Even with all of her amazing achievements, she never lost sight of where she began, never losing touch with her Tennessee roots and upbringing instilled in her as a little girl. Dolly's legacy is that of determination, kindness, and unshakable honesty. She has constructed her entertainment career purely on her own terms, never allowing herself to become held to a particular image. She covered the space from country icon to pop sensation, Hollywood star to entrepreneur, and yet always maintained the humor and warmth with which she is known. She continues to inspire people in every generation, and her works will live long after her. That will be all for this video. We will see you in the next one.